Well, it's 11 o'clock, and welcome to our summer camp wrap-up roundtable. Nikki Tusher was supposed to be hosting this roundtable, but she's home not feeling well. Not COVID related, but just home not feeling well. So I volunteered to sort of lead off this roundtable. And so welcome. I don't have an agenda, but I am interested, we are interested here at PRPS in trying to understand and how it went this summer, you know, with your summer camps. Did they go? How successful were they? We're interested in helping each other share what worked and what didn't. So I can see we have about 5 or 6 folks here, so it's going to require many of you taking the time to speak to us a little bit today. Anyone want to go first? Give us a little update on your camp, how it went, how many weeks, how many people, things you learned. Okay, let's start it this way. If you can hear me, do something in your reactions, like a thumbs up or something. If you can hear me. Thank you, thank you. Okay, people do hear me. Thank you. I was a little worried there. Tammy, since I can see your smiling face, can I pick on you first? Oh, somebody else is laughing over there. You know, you're going to need to unmute if you want to talk, and that's that little microphone icon on your left-hand side. There's Tammy. Oh, we have 2 Tammys.
Yeah, for some reason, Erin says Tammy also. We're not sure why. Our summer camp did sport and specialty camps for 8 weeks. We started everything around July 5th. We did virtual camps prior to that. And then we also did our new version of our summer day camp, which was 6 weeks. We had 50 children per week, and we had them housed at we have newly acquired our new park, Twining Valley, and it was an old golf course, which we have owned but was being used by a management company. And we had a golf club that we actually were able to conform into the space. Kids were outside as much as we could keep them outside. We had no COVID-related incidents. We had our typical summer camp incidents. In the beginning, we found that children needed to learn how to socialize again from being inside and being with their family. We all know that we talk differently to our family than we do to our friends. So we had lots of mean talk in the beginning, and you know, you're stupid, you're dumb, get away from me, you're ugly, all of those typical things. We had sunburn, we had ticks, we had mosquito bites, we had bee stings, but we luckily had no COVID-related incidents. For our summer camps, we had a couple exposures for some of our sport and specialty camp instructors, but none of them tested positive. So they did go into quarantine, and we did our typical, well, not typical, but our newly created COVID protocols. And we luckily got through with very, very few incidents.
Besides the usual summer camp, then.
Exactly, exactly. It was much more the things that we said all along. We were so prepared for the COVID. We knew that it would be the other things that would knock us off kilter.
Now, when you mentioned the protocols, what were some of the like arrivals and departures, and what were some of the steps that you put into place?
We had a 5-page health and safety guideline that we sent out to all of our participants. They also had a 14-day health screening that we asked them to complete before they entered the campsite. We also, and we sent that to everybody. It didn't matter if they were doing our day camps, our sport and specialty camps. And then when they arrived here, we did a temperature check each morning, and we talked to each parent and asked if anything had changed at home, if there were any incidents or any exposures. We also had some protocols in place if children had been traveling, and we had pretty specific guidelines on who was able to come to camp if they had traveled outside of the area. So we did have some children that did not attend because they had been in some of the hot spots this summer. So those protocols, and we actually now, because our school district is completely virtual, we are also running a education support program this fall. We started that last Tuesday, and we have 50 kids who will be at the same site, and they are online learning virtually with their teachers. And we've used the same protocols that we used in the fall. We do not let any parents or any visitors into the building. The children are screened before they get out of the car. And it's working so far.
What's the site again that you're using?
It's Twining Valley Park. So we owned a golf course, and it was being run by a management company. We took it over. Their lease ended last November. And as of December 1st, we took ownership back, and we surveyed the community multiple times over the last 2 years. And it was shown that people wanted us, they weren't interested in golf. So we're naturalizing the park. We are developing trails. We're using some of the existing cart paths. We're also going to be developing a dog park. We have 108 acres over here, and right now it's the largest open space property that we own. And the kids, when we take them outside, we have 108 acres to explore. So in the downtime, and this summer we used it a lot. We actually worked a program with our police department where the kids were taken out. We did bike safety, and the cops took them on rides through the park. And we're developing a lot of bike trails over here as well.
And you said that was a 6-week camp.
It was.
And then before that, what did you do? You had something else going on?
We had virtual camps going on. So we had we had chess, we had mad science. What else did we have?
We had science, chess, pottery, jewelry design.
Virtually.
We did
virtual.
virtually.
That was it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was it. We also did a like a camp at home program where the kids, that only went 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks that we did not have in-person camps going on. So we had staff that were doing online activities. It was only a half day. It was in the morning. The kids were able to pick up packets the week before that had all of the supplies that they were going to be using. And they picked up their packets the week before. And then that following week from 9 to 12 in the morning, the kids were online with our staff. And that staff actually then helped coordinate and get everything set up for our in-person camp as well.
So you've, I'm just going to pick on you for a little while, Tim.
No problem. I'm never at a loss for words.
So you moved on to the virtual school.
We did.
Which a lot of programs are going that way. And I believe some of the legislation was passed or eased to make that transition possible.
We did have to file with DHS. There was a form that we needed to fill out, and we needed to, there was some pretty strict guidelines that we had to follow, but a lot of their other requirements for education was, some of those requirements were relieved so that these learning pods could take place.
Mm-hmm. And what else do you do with them? I mean, what does a day look like?
Well,
it's not all about kids sitting there going to school.
That is a great question. Yeah, the people that are saying that their children are sitting in front of a screen for 6 hours, they're not here. We've had a lot of issues, obviously, with connectivity and with internet issues, children getting kicked out of meetings. We spend a lot of our day troubleshooting. We have upgraded our system. We have added extra hotspots into our site. So we are completely Wi-Fi enabled, and the connectivity is very good. Unfortunately, Google and Zoom have not been our friends. So we have kindergarten through 7th grade here, and they need a lot of help. They need a lot of assistance following their schedule. So we've printed out their schedules. We got the plexiglass barriers. So they're all at their own individual workstations, and we have their passwords and their email addresses and their schedules posted on their plexiglass so that the staff can walk around and make sure that everybody is where they should be, when they should be. We have a wonderful relationship with our school district. So we are constantly getting emails and texts from teachers and the principals saying, so-and-so's not online, so-and-so's not in their meeting. So, you know, we can go right to that person and get them where they need to be. It's been a lot. It's definitely not summer camp.
Now, with some of that coordination, did the school district bring you in to ask for assistance, or was this something that you took on yourselves and because it was a community need? And how did that kind of come about?
We took it on ourselves. The school district did not reach out to us. We multiple times did reach out to them this summer to see what we could do to get it coordinated. And unfortunately, they did not respond because they were dealing with their own issues. So what we did was we got everything coordinated on our side. And once we got closer to the school year starting, we were able to get training from them. And once we opened up, again, we saw the need in the community. We had parents every day and our school district was one of the first to declare that they were going virtual. They went back in July and said they were going virtual, and the people of our community went crazy. Like, the parents were beside themselves. So we saw that there was a need, and we wanted to see if it was possible for us to do it. So we got all of the correct players in place and moved forward that way. Once we got closer to the school year, the school district was much more willing to talk to us and open their doors. So we were able to get training from them. And like I said, we now have a very good relationship where we have teachers and the principal reaching out directly to us. We have put our contact information to every school, and we're like, you know what, if there's an issue or a problem, please, you know, call us, text us, whatever, to get the kids where they need to be. The parents also are emailing us any updates that they're getting. So as soon as we get those updates, we're going right to those children and getting them online.
And are you charging for this service?
We are charging $150 per week per child. The program starts at 7:45 in the morning. We do have staggered drop-offs, 7:45, 8 o'clock, and 8:15. The kids have to be online by 8:30 for their morning meetings. And then we have a pickup at 3 o'clock. The kids are done at 2:45. So we have a 15-minute cleanup and get them all packed up. And then the parents come in at 3 o'clock. And we have a dismissal where they're in their different areas. And then we have walkie-talkies that we walkie-talkie for the kids to their pod leaders. We have one teacher per pod. Some are certified teachers, some are not. And what we found is we are not teaching these children. We are the vessel to get them to their teachers. So we felt that it was important to have certified teachers on staff, but not everybody is a certified teacher. They're all college graduates with degrees that we have working for us. And we also have one floater that floats around to the different areas wherever we need additional assistance. The kindergartners are very, very needy. You know, they're not used to this. They have no idea what, you know, what's being expected of them. They're in rooms with teachers that they've never met. They're with friends that they've never met. So especially the kindergarten, it's been very difficult. And I mean, we're doing okay. We're definitely pulling Aaron and I have a resume that is, there's just things on there that we never expected to see.
Well, a little background. I worked in a K-8 school
Okay.
for 20 years before I came on to with PRPS. So when you tell me about kindergartens, I know very well what you speak of.
Yeah.
I
So the
taught
way we did
kindergarten in
our,
Hong
we
Kong,
only
so-
opened the program up to our township residents and first responders and teachers of Upper Dublin School District. So those are the children that we took in, and we do have a wait list right now. If we continue, I think that the longer that we go virtually, the more likely parents are, this week have had parents going, I just can't do this. I just can't do this anymore. So if we get more of a wait list, we have a library that actually has, we've just retrofitted a building and our library is moving there. So potentially if we have enough of a need, we will be opening another site at our new library, but they will not be opening until the end of September. So they could be coming online as another site that we would be using. We also surprisingly got a lot of parents of high schoolers that said, you know, like, these kids are getting forgotten. Like, you know, they don't need daycare. And that was where our focus was getting the kids that needed somebody to watch them during the day. We wanted to make sure they were taken care of first. And once the library opens, I think we'll be able to do some more things with our high schoolers. And just giving them a place to be able to socialize and see other students, and again, be the vessel to get them to the teachers that they need to interact with. I see there is a question about how do we handle recess breaks. Upper Dublin has actually coordinated their schedule so that everybody is on the same schedule. So breaks happen at the same time, lunch happens at the same time, everybody comes on at the same time, and everybody goes off at the same time. So when they have their breaks, we take them outside. Lunch is outside, so as long as the weather is good, and like, I mean, misty and cold, they're gonna be outside. So we tell parents, dress for the weather and prepare that your child will be going outside. So we have a lot of rec equipment that we'll be utilizing. We don't have playgrounds or play equipment or anything like that here. So we're not worrying about all the sanitization of that. We do have any of the equipment that they're using inside. It's a one-touch. The kids use it, we sanitize it, we set it aside, it sits in a room for 24 hours, and then we bring it back out. We have another question about, are there students that don't have computers or internet? We did not give priority to anybody specifically for those issues. Upper Dublin actually has given Chromebooks to all of their students. So every student that did not have a computer did have access to a computer. And we were not made aware of anybody who had any internet issues. We do have a less, I don't even know exactly what word to use, a more endangered community that struggles with technology and internet access and computer access. And we reached out to them, and unfortunately, they did not want our help. So if there are other children in the community that we have not been made aware of, the school district is very aware that we are here, obviously, and if anybody is in a high-risk area, they would definitely be reaching out to us to let us know about those students. Unfortunately, Upper Dublin is not doing.
Did you mention we have scholarships?
We do have
We have
scholarships.
4 of them on
Yeah,
scholarship to be here.
five.
5 kids.
Yeah, we have 5 kids that are actually scholarshiped to be here. And we have worked it out that they can pay weekly. It is a 9-week program, but they can pay weekly, and no child would have been turned away because of financial reasons. We made sure that that was we would have figured it out. We would have figured out some way to get all of those children in if there was a financial issue.
Any situations of children that need lunch provided or things like that in the program, or are you set up for something like that?
Yeah, we have not, but that is another area that Upper Dublin has. Every Upper Dublin student is able to get free lunch for the time that they are virtual. So those parents can pick up lunch. It's on Tuesdays and Fridays. And every student, you don't have to qualify, because we do have the free or reduced lunch program here, but they do not have to qualify during the virtual time. Any student in Upper Dublin is able to get free lunch at this time. So we haven't had any kind of issues where that's concerned.
Tammy, there's one question I wanted to go back to on your wait list. They wanted to know if there was any preference given for essential workers or first responders.
We kind of got away from the essential worker title only because it was amazing. Everybody that needed to go to work was falling into that category. And because our numbers, we were only able to have 50 kids here. So we only opened it up to Upper Dublin residents and first responders, as well as teachers of Upper Dublin students. Anybody could be put on the wait list because we actually did not fill in the beginning. So we would have taken any of those other children in if we had space. So we haven't had to turn anybody away. But like I said, the wait list now is what is starting to pile up because people are stressed.
So is this program help to make up some funding for you?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we've had to put a lot of money into, because this building was not set up for what we're doing. So we had to buy the barriers. We had to upgrade our internet. We had to put the hotspots in. We've had to buy a copier printer here so that, we're able to print out things that the kids they're every day there's somebody that needs an activity sheet printed out, or an assignment that they've gotten, or a Word doc printed out. So we've had to purchase some of those kind of things. So we've had to put money into it. We've also, because we're hiring college graduates and teacher certified, we did have to increase our pay rates. So we're not paying what we would pay for summer camp staff. We are paying extremely, we're probably doubling or more on some of those quality candidates. And so it is, but I mean, we're getting $150 a week times 50 kids. So we are in a position of bringing in a nice amount of money, but we've also talked about giving that money back to the students who have participated, in some kind of reward program, that we would be able to give some of that excess money back to those children. And that's also helping to cover the scholarship children.
Well, thanks for sharing all that. I'm sure
You're welcome.
we're going to call it your roundtable, I think now.
Okay, we'll quiet now and listen to everybody else.
No, this was great. I always want people talking, so this is just perfect. So you seem to have your act together as much as it can be in these times, and you have this wonderful space that you sort of, just had on hand. So I mean, things worked out, and you clearly took advantage of what you were given. So, congratulations. It sounds like a wonderful program.
I mean, we were very fortunate. I mean, Aaron and I are very, very proud of what we were able to accomplish in a very short period of time. And we're very proud of what we were able to do. And every day, these parents pull up and they thank us over and over again. And just to see the kids, I mean, we feel like all we do all day long is say, put on your mask, wash your hands, put on your mask, wash your hands, put on your mask. So, I mean, we're doing the best we can. And parents are very, very grateful. This is like, and I know I'm going to curse my, our luck right now as soon as I say this, but even when the parents are emailing us with an issue or a connection problem or something that is going wrong, they're like, I don't want to be a pain. I'm sorry that I'm bothering you. You guys are doing such a great job. Thank you so much. I don't know how you're doing what you're doing. They're like, we couldn't do it with one child sitting here and you now have 50 in that building. Like, I don't know how you're doing it. So people are so appreciative. It's been great. It really has. And it's been very rewarding.
Where are some of the gaps, or what are some of the needs that you're currently experiencing that maybe others can help with, or something that we can find resources for you?
The internet.
All right, that one's tough.
And yeah, last Tuesday was probably like one of the worst days. I've worked for Upper Dublin Township for 100 years, and last Tuesday was probably the most challenging day I ever had, because we thought the issue was us. We thought we were because when you're in here and you're encapsulated by it, you have no idea what's happening in the rest of the world. And I mean, one of the principals called and was like, none of our kids are signed on. What's going on? I'm like, seriously? Like, we're the only group that is not signed on? And he's like, absolutely. Everybody else is online. And 30 minutes later, I find out that they're sending all their teachers home because their teachers can't get signed in. And I'm like, okay. So obviously it's not us. But I mean, right now we're in a good place. Like, once we get everybody signed on in the morning and we all take a little bit of a breath, and everything, and it's those little things, like we're figuring it out as we go along. Like, we just ordered 50 disposable headsets because the kids are coming without headsets each day. We ordered the child masks, like things that we've asked the parents to supply. Doesn't always come in with those. Chromebook chargers, like kids are coming in without their Chromebook chargers, and no matter what, like we'll say to the parents, make sure the Chromebooks are charged fully the night before. Make sure they're coming in with their chargers, and they're not. So if anybody has any Chromebook chargers around, we could use them.
We had to order a bunch of headphones.
Yeah. Yeah, we got the disposable headphones. So when the kids come in, we're able to get them, because even they're coming in with headphones that aren't working. So those are issues, because the kids can't hear the teachers can't hear them. It's all those kind of things, like the things that we're able to do. We have a bunch of, luckily, because of some of the rec supplies that we have, we've been able to keep a lot of like the glue sticks and the paint and the markers and the crayons and all that kind of stuff. But we're going through that stuff like crazy, because the kids every day are using up everything that we have.
Sometimes that, like a letter or an email home to parents.
Every day.
about
Every day.
But,
And Upper Dublin also did, they called them go bags. So each kid in the district got a bag that had school supplies in it and books and all kinds of things that each child was supposed to get them through this virtual period. And some of the stuff that was in there, we went through week one. Like, we've already gone through what was in there. So we've also, we've been collecting school supplies and stuff like that, so that we have the stuff, because we know that there's parents that can't go out and purchase those items. And we have hand sanitizer everywhere, so we have that all over the place. The kids, when they're in their workstations, they don't have to wear their masks when they're in there, but as soon as they walk away from the workstation, they have to have their masks on. Again, it's just a challenge every day with those kind of things.
sometimes, when I was in the school, the middle school.
I can't hear you.
Sometimes in school, when I was in the middle school, the kids would intentionally leave their chargers behind. So that,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a little girl this morning, we couldn't get her on, and she was doing a happy dance around the room. She's like, I don't have to go to school today. I don't have to go to school today. We have books and puzzles so that when they're in their free time, that they can read. And we've been, watching believe it or not, like Facebook Marketplace, when people are trying to get rid of shelving. People are getting rid of books. People are getting rid of things like that. We're very fortunate with some of our staff that we have. They're cleaning out their basements and they're bringing stuff in that they're, you know, getting out of their basements so that we're able to keep things here. So, I mean, we're plugging along.
So let me open this up to others because I know you're not the only organization that's been offering a summer camp, and see what kind of progress or what kind of success others have had with their summer camp. I know Phil, you're on. I don't know if you can talk or you're just chatting. Or Todd, you want to share, or maybe Shannon? And Joanna and Sean ran our summer camp. Oh, that was from Phil. We had about 40 kids per week, 10 weeks went, and it went very well. Then again, this is Phil. I guess he's not on audio. He was also without internet last week, so Tammy, and he has no audio right now. Okay. Todd, anything from you? Or Shannon? Makes it hard when the round table's only about 8 or 9 people because BK works with the Park Maintenance Institute, so he doesn't run a summer camp. I used to run summer camps in my school, but the context is totally different given all the events this year. So anyone else? Shannon, unfortunately, our camps were all canceled due to lack of facilities. Oh, okay. Phil wants to know, Tammy, what games you did. And also, I had a question for you also about when they did their recess, how did you get the kids to socially distance, or was that a lost cause, or, what were some things that you put in place?
Socially distanced recess is a lost cause. We just
Okay.
make sure they're wearing masks. They're kids,
They're in pods.
Right,
So the
they're
point
in
of
pods.
The pods is it's supposed to be.
right,
So the same pod all the way through?
correct.
Exactly.
Okay.
And they're moving together. The only time at lunch, because all of our picnic tables are in the same area, so a lot of times the kids are all down there at the same time, but we're trying to keep them at their own picnic tables. The different games that we did, I mean, we did Clue in the park. Aaron created a game of Clue, and our summer staff actually took it and ran with it and hid clues all over the park. We did a lot of pool noodle games. We were on Pinterest and on the internet looking at all the different socially distant games. We played with a lot of hula hoops. We did as many things as we could that we could keep the kids as separate as we could. Again, we kept them in pods, so when the pod went out, we did a lot of water activities this summer.
Bike rodeo.
We did the bike rodeo where the kids were out on their bikes and they were riding bikes throughout the park. They were also able to bring skateboards or rollerblades. The bike itself, we wanted to keep them separate that way, so we wanted to make sure that anybody, that was the easiest way. Yes, they did bring their own bikes from home. And the police did like this whole big program with bike safety, checked their bikes, checked their helmets, and then they were able to go out and ride through the park with the cops. We also did a touchless touch-a-truck where we brought the ambulance, the fire company, the SWAT truck, the police department. They all came to the site, and the kids were able to walk around to each different vehicle, and the people that were on site talked to them and told them all about what it was, what they do, how they do it, but they weren't allowed to touch anything or do anything, as far as the trucks were concerned. We also, what else did we do game-wise?
I mean, a ton of crafts.
Yeah, we did a lot of crafts. The kids had their own cubbies We actually found a place, a warehouse in Conshohocken, which is very close to us, that does those juice cleanses. So they have all of these plastic bins and nobody's allowed to return anything right now. So they're trying to recycle everything. So we were able to get a bunch of these, the plastic, they almost look like the milk crates, but they're longer and a little bit wider. And so we have them, we have all the kids' names on them, so they're able to leave things in those bins. And we also, if they're using any crayons, markers, anything like that, we have them into Ziploc baggies and have them into their bins as well.
Phil asked how many were in our pods. It was usually like 8 to 10.
Mhm.
Okay, Todd says we had a 5-week camp over the summer from 9 to noon, average of 25 kids per week. Went very well, no mask and all the kids playing together. We told parents up front how we were running it so there would be no surprises, and all the parents were very thankful. That way, no problems whatsoever. And again, he has no audio.
That's what we did too. I mean, we were very upfront with the parents. Most parents didn't want their kids outside with masks on in the heat. You know, they were just, they asked us to keep them as separate as we could. We have several children of doctors that did our summer camp as well as are doing what we're doing now. And they just keep sending us helpful tips, you know, on how to try to keep things, you know, as safe as possible. But I mean, we're doing the best we can with the masks, but it's a daily struggle. It's a daily struggle with the masks.
Phil started the mask about mid-camp. So yeah, that is a difficult thing, especially the younger the kids are and the more activity you do.
Right. And now, right now, especially with them being online, because imagine this Zoom class, you know, this Zoom program with all these different, you know, tiles with all these children with masks on, and it's muffled and the internet is not great. So the parents, I mean, the teachers are having difficulty hearing what the kids are saying, understanding what the kids are saying. We also have kindergarten, first, second grade who are, you know, their speech is not maybe up to snuff to begin with. So there's just no way to have them in masks all day long while they're on these Zoom calls or the Google Meets. And again, what we've told the kids, as long as they're in their cubby, and we're using just regular folding tables. We don't have desks. We have folding tables that we got. If we have a round table, we have them broken into the 4. We have like a T plexiglass that gives them like a pie-shaped workstation. And then at the long tables, we have them in, it's like a U-shape opening. We also, if the children are from the same household, they have them sitting at tables, and we don't have the barriers up with those children because they're coming from the same household. We have multiple kids we have siblings here.
I think that's one of the important takeaways is that, you know, just being as upfront as you can with the parents about, you know, this is how it's going to run because, you know, here's the reasons why.
Right.
And
we keep saying to them every time they ask a question, and we're like, we're doing the best we can. We're absolutely doing the best we can.
And it's, you know, over the course of the summer, we found out more and more, and BK, you can correct me on this, but I think I'm right, that it's not so much surface contamination that spreads the virus.
Right.
It's more about aerosol or water droplets.
Exactly. And, you know, we've done a lot of different things. Again, like we have the disinfectant wipes, we have the disinfectant spray that we're using to spray things down. And we have special wipes that we use to clean the workstations as well. And the kids have had fun decorating them. So it's like their own little cubby, their own little place. We actually have several children that have IEPs that are on the spectrum. So we're working with their special ed teachers, and, you know, it's going well.
There was a
I'm knocking
question
on wood
that
for you. Go ahead.
There was a question in the chat from Kelly. I guess it goes back to when you had your touchless touch a truck concept, but she was asking when other outside organizations were brought in, I guess, did they approach you with an idea, or did you approach them to partner with you for those kind of activities?
We approached them. When we were going through trying to figure out what we were going to do with these kids for 6 hours a day and make sure that they had enough to do and enough variety, we were the ones that brainstormed a lot of these different activities. We used to do a junior police academy and police field day with our police department, and that ended. That was the week after our camp ended, so the kids were actually able to come and interact with the police. We were not able to do that this year, so our summer safety academy was brought out of that, and that was a lot of planning done with our police department. And we did not allow, except for employees, so the police are part of our department, part of our township employees. They were the only other people that were allowed into the building. We did not bring any special entertainers or anything like that. And when we brought the ambulance and the fire truck and the SWAT truck here, it was all outside. Everybody stayed outside, and they were socially distant when the kids were, everybody wore masks and they were able to social distance outside. But that was the only.
Yeah.
Did we bring anybody else in? Oh, we also brought we brought a fitness instructor in, and again, we did it outside. And we broke the kids, and each pod came and worked with her we brought her in twice. And then we
only used people that we've worked with in the past. We didn't bring anyone new in this year just because we knew them and trusted them. And outside of that regular camp, we did offer a lot of the specialty camps and sport camps still. So we brought in mad science, we brought in engineering for kids, pottery design, pottery works, that kind of thing. And I think we were just a lot more hands-on with those camps than we have been in the past. I would always check and say, hey, are you comfortable coming back this summer? This is what we're doing. Are you able to follow all that? I was always there in the morning, or another staff member from our staff to take temperatures, and we provided all the hand sanitizer, all that kind of stuff. So we just made sure that they were on the exact same page with us of what they were doing over there. We made it a requirement that they be doing our pre-screen form too for 14 days. So just kind of worked that out with the contractors.
I have a follow-up question, not so much with it's great that you're doing partnerships and you stuck with the folks that you've known and can work well with. But my question goes to Shannon had mentioned earlier that they ended up canceling all their camps because they didn't feel like they had the facility. And that sparked a question to me is, like, what would you consider a facility that could accommodate a program like you're doing for, like, what are your basic needs for a summer camp or even for the schooling assistance?
Right. Well, the schooling is different because we had to be inside and we had to have access to Wi-Fi. The summer, our mission was to have the kids outside as much as possible. So our sport and specialty camps, our sport camps took place on fields. Our specialty camps, we have outdoor pavilions that we used either at two of our parks have very large pavilions. And we also reduced our numbers. We made sure that we capped out at 10, right? Yeah, we capped out at 10 for our specialty camps. And we just made sure that they were outside, and they were unfortunately weather dependent. So if the weather was bad, we ended up canceling. And even the sport camps that we did basketball, we did tennis, we did soccer.
We changed a lot of those to Monday to Thursday with the rain day to Friday instead of a 5-day camp. There was a lot of rearranging. Sometimes we had instructors say they weren't comfortable, so we worked out finding somebody else that we knew to run that camp. Our pavilions are really big, which was great because we could have one child per picnic table. So that was very socially distanced already, the setup of those.
Yeah. But yeah, so as far as the facilities were concerned, if we didn't have these facilities, we wouldn't have been able to have camp this summer. We typically work with the school district. we're usually in the schools, and they were not allowing any outside groups in to the facilities. So we were not able to even use their fields, their basketball courts, any of those. In the beginning, we were not able to have access to any of those locations. So back in probably April, Aaron and I started on a relocation plan to see exactly what we had, and we just came up with a big grid of what we had available to us, what we could feasibly do there. And there were some camps that we just decided there was no way to do them, and we eliminated them.
All right, I have two more questions for you, Tan, believe it or not. One is, what is your plans as the weather turns colder, and you're doing this virtual classroom help program? What are your plans for that? How are you going to adjust for the cold? And then the other one is sort of what do you think? I mean, you are obviously successful putting out a camp, but that saying, if I knew all I knew now, what would you do differently going forward?
All right, to address the weather issue, we're taking these kids outside. We've told parents, dress for the weather. I mean, they need to be outside, and as much as we can get them outside, we're going to take them outside. So we've told them, even as it gets colder. Right now, Upper Dublin is only scheduled to be virtual until November 6th. So right now, our program is only scheduled to go through November 6th. There's actually a town hall meeting on Thursday night that the superintendent will be conducting to give everybody the blueprint of what it's going to take to go back to in-person school. And yesterday, one of the largest districts around us just determined that they are going to start back at the end of September, early October. So I don't know if that's going to start snowballing everybody else. There's a lot of pressure to the district to bring back in-person camps. In-person school. We have a district right next to us, and their elementary school is both in-person and virtual. So everybody's watching them very, very close. Central Bucks is going back, Phil. Central Bucks has determined that they do have the staff. They ended up going virtual because they said they had so many staff that required some sort of teaching exemptions, as well as teachers taking leave, that they weren't able to staff the program. So that's why they went virtual, and they've just determined yesterday. Wissahickon, which is the district right next to us, is in-person and virtual for kindergarten through 5th grade. And my daughter-in-law is actually a teacher in 5th grade, and she's in person, and the struggles that we're having virtually, she's having this very similar, even, sometimes even worse struggles being in person with these kids. The curriculum is difficult. They don't have the supplies that they need. Until last week, they weren't allowed to do any kind of recreation with these kids. They would go out for recess, and the only thing the kids were allowed to do was to walk around the playground. They weren't allowed to play on any of the equipment. They weren't allowed to do any type of recreating, and the kids had to stay apart. They were eating lunch at their desks. Her class, they start at 8:25 in the morning, and her class doesn't eat lunch until 1:30 in the afternoon. So the in-person struggles are sometimes worse than the virtual struggles. We were talking the other night about, the differences, and I have another daughter-in-law that's in this district who deals with autistic children, and the special needs children are struggling so badly because of everything that's being put on them as well. So everybody has a different struggle. Looking back, would we do things differently? Tweaking things here and there, yes. But I think as far as what we know now, having maybe more structured activities, because we know we could have. We were so afraid to be bringing, even 2 groups of kids together. We kept everybody completely separate and kept them in different parts of the park. So as far as those things are concerned, I think if we had a better, not a better grasp of what we could do, but doing some more interactive things. The kids had a great time. The kids really enjoyed themselves, but it was tough, and I think we could have done more with them. Kona Ice is Bill Green, who comes around, and typically they go to all the different summer camps and they give Kona Ice out. It's shaved ice, flavored ice to the kids. We didn't let him come in this year. Other departments did allow him to come back, but we brought him back like the last week as like a, great job this summer kind of thing. So I think some of our regulations we were very, very strict with because we didn't know what to expect. I think we could have relaxed some of it, but I'm glad we did what we did because it did work out for us.
And I will say, our school district here at State College, they opened up on time. They were a day late opening up, but they only lasted a week.
Yeah.
And now the whole district is back to online learning and people are scrambling. So to hear that your program is there and up and running and doing well, that's a big opportunity for a lot of people because we just don't know how long,
Right.
which way this thing is going to go. I mean,
And we've told parents, like, if we go back to red at any point, like, we will shut down. Like, they know that. The chance is always there. We also have learned some of the different protocols. Everything that we've done, we've put through our solicitor's office as well as through our insurance carrier is through the Delaware Valley Insurance Trust.
Mm-hmm.
We have put everything through them. So they're all very aware of what we are doing. And then any type of changes or adjustments, they're in close contact with us. So, it's that 15-minute window. So they're telling us, like if you're around a child, like if you're helping a child, try to keep it to that like 10-minute window and then walk away. And then if you have to go back and help them again, like we're just trying to not have that very close contact, because when we're helping these kids with their computers, like they're right here and I'm right here. And, so we're trying to keep to that 10-minute window of keeping the kids separate. Or like keeping us separate from them.
Okay.
It's every day. Every day. I don't sleep a lot.
Well,
Taking an appreciative spin on things, is there anything that you've learned from this summer, even if things do go back to normal tomorrow, that will stay because it was something that we're like, oh, we never thought of it that way, and that was a great approach?
I said, like, through this whole thing, there have been a lot of challenges. There's been a lot of things that have been very difficult, but there's been a lot of really great things that have come out of this also. Again, I am so proud of our staff and what we've been able to accomplish, and just thinking outside the box and figuring out some of these different games and activities that we've been able to do with the kids. The barriers, like at first it was a lot of money to buy all these barriers. It was probably in the area of $2,300. The tees that we have or the X's that we have for the round tables were $130 each. And then the individual U-shaped compartments that we have were $65 each. So it was pretty expensive to buy those things. And in the beginning, they were like, well, will we ever use them again? I'm like, if we have them, we should be using them. And moving forward, why wouldn't we use them? So when we're having our science camp, or we're having mad science here, or we're having pottery design, it's an extra barrier. It's an extra layer of safety. So think about what we deal with on a normal, every year we're dealing with colds and sneezing and children slobbering all over us. And so, just knowing and keeping everybody safe, making sure that they're washing their hands, making sure that those barriers are in place, we will definitely continue to use them. I mean, moving forward, there's no reason not to. Cold and flu season, there's no reason not to have those barriers. There's enough room. We know that there's a big enough workstation that the kids are able to do everything that they want to do. I think that the whole keeping people separate is a key part of this. I also think that, again, when camp first started and we were watching these kids trying to socialize again and just talking to them and showing them that we're here for them, the community aspect of this has been huge. I've had people that don't have kids in the district who have come up to us and have been like, do you guys have any idea what you have done for this community? Like just stepping up and doing this. And there's a lot of other organizations out there. There's a dance studio that's doing what we're doing. The Y is doing what we're doing. There's another day camp actually across the street from where we are now. They're doing it. So there's a lot of people doing it. And I don't know how successful they're being. I think that everybody is right now so focused on getting through each and every day. But the kids needed this and the parents need it.
It's very much a community service is what you're doing. And also, I think you're going to reap the benefits down the road when it comes to, defending your budgets. And
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
being-
I said, we've become more essential this year than we've ever been. We're always fighting to have our piece of the pie, more or less, and showing everybody. And it's amazing. And again, I've worked for the department for a long time, and we're a very close knit, very small, per se, staff. And when I ask for things, people are here doing it. Like they come that day because they see the importance of what we're doing. It's even just changing light bulbs, and, we had to get a plumber in here to change out toilets and things like that. And like when we ask for stuff, because we don't ask for it, typically we're trying to get through like the rest of us, we're trying to get through on a shoestring budget and make sure that things are functioning. And so when we're asking for things, like our staff is the entire public works, it doesn't matter what department it is, our facilities people, they are here helping just like everybody else is. It's been great. It's really been, it's been quite a community of, effort.
There was something, I haven't read the article yet, but there's something in the Time magazine about daycare in all of its forms it should be considered an essential service.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because things would stop if daycare is not available.
Well, and see, school districts closed down.
Yeah.
This summer, school districts closed down because their staff could not take care of their children whose districts were going virtual, as well as, or even other parents that had to go to work. We have nurses, doctors, police officers, and we worked it out that they can either come 2 or 3 days as well. So if we have some kids coming Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then other kids are coming Tuesday, Thursday. They each still have their own workstations. So as far as, because some people were working shift work and they're like, I can't afford $150 and I can't justify it because I'm going to be home 3 of those days. Like I can't put my kid in for 5 days when I'm going to be here. So, we have nurses that are working, and we have a lot of police officers, children are here. So we had to kind of modify as we went through. At first we were like, nope, we want the same 50 kids and we don't want anything changing out. And again, we're also finding that the incidence of exposure and transmission with children is very low.
Well, I'm looking at the time and I see it's about noon and our hour is good. And Tammy, will you come to the next roundtable too?
Absolutely. I told you I'm never at a loss for words. And I'm happy.
No.
I'll send you my the health and safety guidelines and the medical form and all of that we used. We also have a parent handbook that we gave out to all the parents. So I'll send that to you, Dan, and you can distribute it.
And what I'm going to do is sometime this afternoon, we'll convert this video and we'll post it online on our regular site with the COVID. Just go to the PRPS website and then the COVID response page, and we'll have it posted there. But I'll also send it out to everyone who's participated in this roundtable, and I'll include your stuff with that, along with a condensed version of a modified version of the chat box. So you guys will all have that, and I'll share all the email addresses. So like we usually do. So again, thank you everyone for being here, for sharing. I know some of you weren't verbal today because of various reasons, but thank you for your input on the chat box. Tammy, it's great to hear from a program that had success. And I think that's what everybody was craving. So
Yep.
wonderful.
Thank
The last thing I wanted to mention is I was reminded this morning that, we're still in this. People get tired of, doing all that stuff. And there's people, at your supermarket waiting your table, doing all those things and putting themselves in some more risk than you are. And they're not being thanked enough. And I think we have to remember that to, thank people for their efforts on behalf of their community to keep things rolling. And so, Tammy, I want to personally thank you for what you guys are doing, you and your staff, and just leave us with that kind of a note. Unless there's anything else from anyone? No, I think that's a good ending.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye now.